But welcome to episode 30 of the OntheLaulau podcast. You guys, this is a very special episode. And if you're joining me here today, I'm excited to announce that this is episode 30. I started this podcast 2 years ago. That is freaking hilarious. But you know what? The slow runner is the one who wins the race. I do not like to force things when I do not feel creatively inspired to do so. So here we are. I felt inspired tonight, and this is a special edition because today is a Tipsy podcast episode. Now, am I under the influence of alcohol? To be fair, I haven't had enough to say that I'm tipsy, but I have had a drink or two because I was cleaning my closet and I felt called to making a dirty ass vodka martini, which is literally just vodka and olive juice. So I asked you guys on my Instagram story, by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. I post the most on Instagram, okay? Stories. Like I post so much good shit in my stories. I don't I don't know why I don't make it into videos. Anyway, so if you want more behind the scenes of Lolo Renaud, you know what to do. My Instagram is laura.renaud. So now that I've plugged in my Instagram, but I'm really doing it for you just because I do a lot of good stuff on there. I asked you guys to ask me some interesting questions for a podcast episode. So I hope you guys are doing amazingly well today. And let's get started. Whatever you're doing, listening to this, I'm sending you an amorous, maybe. I was gonna say an enormous, but let's go with a huge love of hug. Hug a love? Shit. First question: how do I connect with God and give it all to Him? Probably a silly question, but I feel I need to. There is no question that is too silly for me. I am dialed in and I am ready to serve you in all of the love that I can. So, there is nothing that you need to physically do to connect with God. You can just decide that you are and to return to that connection to the infinite and divine creator of all that is. Now, when I talk about God, I would like to clarify that I'm not talking about a specific representation of God. To me, God is the infinite divine creator of all that is. So I know a lot of people think that when I speak of God, I am speaking of Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying that I'm not, but I'm just saying that I'm not. You know what I mean? So, how do you connect with God? You could literally just decide to start speaking out loud as if you're having a conversation with someone. And I will share that sometimes I feel uncomfortable doing this because it's like it's almost too vulnerable. It's like you're talking with this infinite consciousness that loves you and accepts you for everything that you are because technically God created you. So, that consciousness already knew that you would fuck it up and make mistakes and do stupid shit, but that consciousness just loves you anyways. And it's just there to support you. And that consciousness loves you. And it's just such a beautiful representation of divine and unconditional love. And I think that because we exist in this physical realm and we have an ego and trauma and limitations, we think that love comes with a price, right? It comes with value, it comes with something to offer. So connecting with God is as simple as opening your heart to it and being willing to be vulnerable, but like really vulnerable. Like when I journal and I write down my thoughts, I feel almost ashamed that those are the thoughts I'm thinking, but that means that I'm already judging myself. You cannot judge yourself for the things that you want to share with God, to your infinite divine creator. So when you ask, how do I give it all to Him? It's just repeatedly surrendering when you feel like being in control. And I know that this is the most difficult thing to do because we live in a realm where we've been programmed that we need to figure it out and be in charge and make everything happen, but that is physically impossible unless you're so wired into your survival mechanisms that it works. But I don't think you want to do that. I think you want to be free and you want to receive and you want to welcome and allow. So just realize that there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. You can spend all of your time worrying and questioning if you're doing the right thing and if you're on the right track, but essentially, you have no idea. You have no idea what's going to happen in a week, in a month, in a year. And you just have to surrender and trust and believe and allow that the most divine plan for your life is unfolding. And one thing that I've started repeating in these past few months is I am now fully allowing God's divine plan and will for my life to unfold. Because obviously, I've spoken about this a few times. When you have your spiritual awakening and you dive into the law of attraction and manifestation, you think that it's up to you to make it all happen on your own. And it is just not. That is child's play. But we are here to co create with God with a plan that has already perfectly been structured. And you are just being in such a receiving mode that you can act on those ideas that are truly from your soul. But the ideas that are from your soul are also from God. Both are like harmonizing together to create the most abundant, fulfilling experience for you that is going to also give you the most amazing lessons for you to evolve your consciousness further. Like, what the frick? That's so cool. So, how do you connect with God? there's nothing you need to do. You could decide you're laying in your bed, you're sitting in your car, just have a moment with yourself. And I know this might feel ridiculous, but just allow and welcome and receive. And I know sometimes we question, are we good enough to receive? Who am I to have this unconditional love and support? Well, if you didn't, you wouldn't be alive. So sometimes it's really as simple as welcoming it, not trying to intellectualize it. And I'm very good at intellectualizing complicated things. Second question, explain your awakening from the matrix and how it came to be. All right. So I have always been a little bit different with my beliefs. I remember my second year of high school, I was in math class and I told my teacher that all of this was bullshit. Literally, like there was an outbreak of some type of disease on the news and everyone was freaking out. And I was like, it's not even real. Like they're just paid actors. And I remember I was going up, I was literally debating my 30-year-old math teacher. And I still remember his face. His name was Sebastian, bless his heart. But I've just always seen the world a little bit differently, and my family has always stood out. Like, I just feel like there is no other way for me to be here than to be here because it's always been meant to be this way, in a way, if that makes any sense. Like, this was always who I was meant to be, you know? And I'm so glad that I stepped into my power. So, to answer the question, because we are not going to deviate in this episode, I think the whole awakening from the matrix process is done in multiple different phases. There is so many different layers that your mental, physical, logical mind must get used to before it can apply it to its physical reality. So, my first wave was the spiritual awakening that I had back in the beginning of 2020 before the whole pandemic happened. I was going through a heartbreak. I just quit my job that I had been working at for years, basically letting go of everything that felt safe. And I took some time to actually work on myself. Like for a month, I did not touch social media. I was only on YouTube, but even then, I was limiting it. I was meditating 1 hour every single day. Sometimes I would challenge myself to do it twice a day. It was a very interesting period. And I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I used to be that person because I was so devoted to figuring something different out. Meaning, life had been a loop of it feels good one day, it feels like shit one day. And I didn't want my life to be phases of feeling good and feeling bad, even though I think I have no control over that. I'm not the one who decides. I just have to flow with the flow. But essentially, that first heartbreak was really bringing out so many wounds inside of me. And then letting go of my job because I was unhappy. Like, that is one of the first times, actually, that's not true, one of the few times that I bet on myself and jumped into the unknown, which I'm really grateful for, by the way. It seems to be really easy. So when I see you guys commenting and messaging me like, oh my God, how am I supposed to make my ideal life happen? You really have to bet on yourself, even if you have no external proof that it's going to go your way. You just move with that faith of like, it's just going to go my way. And even if it doesn't, I'm chill. And I know that it's a little bit uncomfortable to jump in the unknown like that because you want guaranteed safety, and I love you for it, and I respect you for it. But man, oh my God, I love the thrill of just being in the unknown. It is so uncomfortable. I love it, but I don't because it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But I just stay there. And then I think a year later, I started having my food ingredient awakening and I started like really going into a whole different layer of the conspiracies. And I'm not going to lie, that was kind of a dark time for me. And I felt a little bit depressed with everything I was learning. Hence why I was inspired to write my ebook, which is a bestseller, by the way, How to Not Lose Your Shit After Unplugging from the Matrix, linked in the bio below. And you can also get it on Amazon. I am only saying this because I know that it is exactly what you need at this time. If you have not read it already, I got inspired of writing this because I just felt so paralyzed from living my life and I feel like a dark cloud was following me all of the time and I didn't know what to do anymore, to be honest. It was so heavy. I didn't want to exist in the world. And then eventually I kind of came out of it and I learned to experience balance in my life and to just enjoy it, not put so much pressure on myself to be perfect with everything that I found out. And I got to know life after unplugging from the matrix, hence the title of my book. But yeah, there was no like really big, oh my God, awakening moment. But I feel like when you dive into more and more truths and your consciousness levels are just expanding, the more and more that you go out into society and into physical places, you just see it. You see the programming, you see the matrix agents, like it's everywhere. I am literally in a matrix apartment right now. I am in a concrete jungle of cubes. My apartment is a cube of concrete. It's amazing. I don't even know. It feels great, but it also feels a bit strange, but I apparently wanted to immerse myself in the experience, so here I am. Third question: is there any Matrix foods I cannot stay away from? If so, which ones? Very easy answer: ice cream. I am a complete SLUT for ice cream. I know you can make ice cream yourself with raw egg yolks and raw cream and all of this shit, and I'm sure it's really good. But here's the thing: there is something about a certain brand of ice cream that is available in Quebec, which is where I am from, by the way, if you didn't know. Hi, I live close to Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The brand of the ice cream is Cootsy Cook. All right. Cody Cook? Cody Cook. I don't know. Whatever. And it's just a 2-liter tub of ice cream. The ingredients are absolute shit, but there's something about it. I love most of the flavors. It makes me happy because I feel like Ben and Jerry's is a little bit dirty, you know? It always has some toppings, some like cookie dough or some type of shit to make it really over the top. It is bomb. But one time I saw that video of how many grams of sugar is in a Ben and Jerry's tub and I got scared. But because I have never seen a video of that with the Quitty Cook ice cream, it's fine. But it's not fine. I'm eating shitty sugar. But I fully take responsibility and I take full accountability. And you can say whatever you want about it. Oh my God, you need to detox. Oh my God, parasites. I 100% agree with you. I'm not even here to debate you. So I would say ice cream is a pretty strong one. Other than that, when I go grocery shopping, I'm pretty good. Like, I really don't buy things that have shitty ingredients. But there are just times where I feel like being a little bit like carefree. So if I really feel like a good chip that has like canola oil, I'll do it. I used to really be into sun chips, and now I don't know if I would eat it anymore. But I'm really not restrictive in that way. I know there's people who have their food awakening and they're like, I'm not touching shit ever again. And I respect you, honestly. Fourth question: my tips on building a community with content. All right. So, if you were to ask me, how did you build the audience that you have built? I would say, I have no fucking idea. Listen, there is no plan when you're following your intuition. You just act, you just follow, and you just obey your intuition. And quite frankly, I am very grateful for how easy it has always been for me to follow my intuition when it comes to creating. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. I also have my own limiting beliefs, and I have that little voice in my head that tells me, who are you to do this? Imposter syndrome. No, you're not good enough for this, blah, blah, blah. But that is where the whole beating the matrix concept really applies because you quite literally have to say shut up to your physical mind, which is based on limitation, which is based on your survival instincts. So, when it comes to posting content, first of all, you have to make sure that you feel safe being seen. You have to make sure that you feel safe being seen for who you truly are beneath the surface, behind closed doors. You have to be willing to be vulnerable and speak about the things that are really, really on your heart, all of your experiencing, what? All of your experiences, all of those gut wrenching, disgusting moments that you've experienced, but somehow you're still here today and you saw the light on the other side. Because we are all experiencing so much shit on a daily basis. And not only are we experiencing it, but we have held on to it, meaning there's a lot of unprocessed shit that you have experienced in the past and now it's coming back in the fucking present moment. Anyways, all of this to say, you have to make sure that you're doing it from your heart. I know that there's a lot of people making videos and they're freaking doing research on all of these tips and all of these tricks and here's how to get more views. I get it, but I would be exhausted if I looked that shit up. I would be exhausted. I would not want to make videos because creating is supposed to be flow state. Creating is supposed to be playful and just allowing and do whatever the frick you want, dude. Like you are literally a 5-year-old and you have a huge like canvas with crayons and paint and glitter and stickers. You can do whatever you want. But if you're too stuck in the mind and you're scared to touch the colors and you're scared to draw outside the lines, like people are going to feel that. You have to own who the fuck you are and speak it so loud in every single one of your posts and your videos. Not everyone is going to like your videos and your posts. It might piss off a lot of people, but we're doing God's work. It's not going to be easy, okay? If your mission is to serve in divine light and love, and you are truly here to expand that frequency all over the planet, you won't even care how long it takes because it will feel so freaking good to you and to your soul because you're being of service. We are here to be of service to one another. We're not here to get a bunch of material, make a bunch of money. That is a byproduct of being who the fuck you are. So, to build an audience, I would tell you Be who you are. Be willing to be vulnerable. Share all of your deepest, darkest moments. Make it fun and playful. Like, I want to see how goofy you are. I want to see what your sense of humor is. I want to see what life is from your perspective. That is the only reason that people follow someone on social media. I want to see what life looks like through your eyes. Be authentic. Spread love. Everything that you do is love. Every video you post is love. Every single thing that you do is just emitting the frequency of love. And do it every day, multiple times a day, as much as you can. Like, I used to be posting 3 to 5 videos on TikTok every day, and I post every day on Instagram. You gotta post. You gotta put yourself out there because we live in a consumer society. So the more they can consume content from you, the better. When I find someone that I really vibe with and I see that they have vlogs on YouTube, they have podcasts, they have all these different types of content, I'm so excited because when you genuinely resonate with someone and how they live and who they are, like, of course, I want to, in a way, be inspired from that. Like, I don't follow anyone on social media that doesn't inspire me or that makes me feel like a piece of shit. Like, I literally have unfollowed so many people because of that reason. So try it out. But that is the answer to your question. Fourth question. What is something that I loved as a child that I have brought into my adulthood? I would tell you, it's really funny because I do think that my soul has always had a fascination with the Matrix because ever since I was a kid, I always loved stores and like grocery stores and Matrix stuff and playing house, playing mom and dad, playing grocery shopping. I loved basically playing Matrix. Ever since I was a kid, I don't know why. I've always found it super interesting. My favorite scenes in movies are like when they're at a grocery store picking out, I don't know, it's weird. It's like the Matrix shit is appealing, okay? And I've always loved writing. I've always loved writing about life. I like observing life, my perspective of life. I used to love playing Barbies and I would create the weirdest fucking stories, but I would have so much fun. And like the best time of my life was not playing with my friends outside, it was playing Barbies by myself. And I mean, that says a lot about who I am now. I feel like I've spent a lot of time by myself, but in a way, I love myself so incredibly much that I don't care that my Friday nights were spent playing Barbies underneath my staircase in my loving home that I still live in, by the way. It's still my parents' house. Iconic. So I've always loved playing with life. And I think how I brought that into my adulthood is really just, I'm doing it right now. My dream has been to have an apartment and to furnish and decorate it. And it might seem stupid. And I know that women love to go to TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and all of those stores, but women are gatherers. Women bring shit home to make the house a home. There is something about finding decor with colors and themes and things that just add so many aura points to a home. And I freaking love it. And I am so grateful that I get to be in this matrix space. I'm surrounded by 5G. The tap water in my fucking plumbing is terrible. I have a filter on my shower, but like it still smells like chlorine. I'm like, ew. But I'm here. I'm here for now. My lease is until September 2026, baby. And I will be immersed in this experience and I will choose to live it to the fullest because I'm having fun. I'm playing the game right now. So I mean that's my answer to the question. So we're going to leave it at that. How would you raise your children? How many do you want? This is a great question. So if you didn't know this about me, one of my greatest ambitions in life is to be a mother. And that might sound tacky or it might sound surprising. I don't know, whichever one you pick. But there is something that I find so beautiful about being a mom. And like that's my ultimate goal in life. And I don't know if that's stupid of me. Like, yes, I get it, have a career and be ambitious and create things and do all these things. But to me, that moment of connection you experience by creating a life and then getting to know that soul, holy frick, that's magical. Like it makes me want to do it right now. But it's just because imagine you fall in love with someone and then you co-create with the most divine forces in the universe to create a life. But it is a mix of you and the person that you love. So essentially it is just a blend of love and then they're born into this world and then you have to take care of them and make sure that they feel good and warm and cozy and nice and happy and like there is nothing better than feeling safe, feeling comfortable, feeling cozy. Like I feel safe right now. I am in a warm, cozy, dim lights environment. My door is locked. It's really hard to get into my building. It's like just this feeling of I'm in a cocoon and I am safe. And essentially, that is the feeling that we have been chasing ever since we got out of the womb. We just want to feel warm and safe, and everything is taken care of. And I cannot wait to provide that experience to another human being, especially the human beings that I will create. Because to answer the question, I would love four. I don't know if that's ambitious. I want a big family. If it's four, it's four. If it's less, whatever. I'm leaving it up to God, but I think four kids would be fucking crazy, but I'd be all about it. So I would love to raise them, obviously, with a more conscious aspect, meaning from 0 to 7 years old, I understand that their subconscious minds are being formed, and I am going to rail them with affirmations and positive programming. Like, my baby will never be in the same room as me if I'm talking about money with my husband. Like, no. I am not letting that beautiful little sponge of a brain absorb anything that should not be in there. And now mind you, I'm aware I could do everything perfectly, but my child will probably still have some type of trauma. And I understand that. I want to be the most equipped that I can be to welcome their feelings, to be able to teach them how to self regulate their emotions. I want to teach my children how to meditate, how to sit with their feelings, how to be comfortable with quiet, silent time. I want to teach my kids, just like present moment stuff that, like, obviously are not in most of the parenting books. In an ideal world, you give them all of the better quality foods, better quality diapers, and baby formula, if you even have to give them formula. I would love to raise them on land, have a big house, but a nice house. You know, I'm not saying I want a farm, but chickens could be cool because I love eggs. And I can only imagine what fresh eggs taste like. I should probably find a way to have fresh eggs and see what the hype is about because I probably could never go back to like shitty grocery store eggs. But essentially, I would like to develop a lot of life skills, like basic life skills. It's funny how everything from the past is making its way back because we don't need all of these crazy things. We don't need to pay 1,000 people to do all of these basic things, or like how to knit, or just, that basic human shit that they were doing 100 years ago when they had nothing else to do. But, anyways, there's a lot of little details, and I am more than convinced that I will meet a man who is aligned with these values because, wow, that's the dream, baby. But essentially, to answer the question, just raise them with a lot more awareness and a lot more presence. And even myself, I'm sure I'm going to get triggered. And my goal is to really not snap at them, not get mad at them, not speak down on them. I know I'm going to fuck it up. I know I'm going to make a mistake. I know I'm going to say something. I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry. But I do think that the parenting aspect of things also teaches you a lot about yourself because you literally created a mini you that is going to inherit all of your shit. So, I mean, I think that's what we're here for in a way. Like, I respect everyone who doesn't want a child, who doesn't feel like they were made to have a child. Like, please just stay true to your intuition. But in a way, like, what a more beautiful experience. Like, there's not a more beautiful experience than that, in my opinion. So, I'm excited to be a mama. Next question. What's your type of guy? Kaz, I've been crashing. I have no idea what that second part meant. My type of guy, I would tell you, yes, I can describe to you characteristics that I would love for a man to have, but essentially, I'm looking for a soul recognition, that type of connection that is felt on a soul level where I feel seen and understood by you, and where in ways where I don't even have to communicate, or, you know, just that soul recognition, just that divine knowingness, just that inner truth in a way. My type of guy is obviously a conscious one. With everything I've been saying, I could not possibly have a conversation with a man who does not understand everything I've been talking about for the past however minutes. I am an individual who loves to be mentally stimulated. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that I'm a Gemini, but I cannot do surface level conversations for the life of me. They piss me off. They annoy me. They're a waste of my time. I'd rather isolate myself and be alone than to have boring conversations with boring people. And that might sound really cold and raw and insensitive, but in a way, I just see so many people being fine with mediocre relationships and I've never understood it. And I think that's why I never fit in. Like in high school, people were friends with stupid people. And I was like, why are we friends with these people? Like, no judgment, but the cool kids at school that everyone thought were cool, they're not cool. They're like traumatized and they found a way to get validation from other people. And listen, it's just like I'm just always fascinated by the whole concept of having an ego and seeking external validation because we all do it. Like I'm saying this, but I'm not immune to it. Like I have had wounded parts of my ego that thinks that if I prove how worthy I am, then everything will be fine. It never fucking works. Okay. So all of this to say that I don't like surface level conversations. Um, I would like someone who can dig my brain and I can dig their brain because I mean, saying I do for a lifetime is a long time. It's a lot of dinners. It's a lot of going to bed rituals. It's a lot of like daily mundane things. So make sure you enjoy doing those things with someone. Next question. When do we not give our focus and energy to the matrix? Now, I love to think like you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You're here. I get it in the Matrix movies. Neo unplugs from the Matrix, okay? And he thinks he's free from it. But Neo goes back in the Matrix world for whatever he needs to do for his missions and shit. But obviously, we live in a very controlled world, a world that is designed for you to fail, for you to not succeed, whether it's financially or with your health. There are, let's call them matrix attacks from every single perspective. Your job is not to be afraid of them. It is not to stay away from them. It is not to, I think the only answer is stillness. And that is going to sound so freaking vague. So let me elaborate. Let's say that there was a second pandemic that would hit the rest of the planet tomorrow morning. What are you going to do about it? Okay, so you know that everything is a lie. You know who runs the world. You're aware. What are you going to do about it? Because the rest of mankind has been under this spell, never woke up, never had the intention of waking up. And the system as we know it is crashing because of the consciousness levels that are expanding and shifting every single day. So, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to revolt? Are you going to fight back? But how are you going to fight back without sacrificing vital parts of your survival? How are you going to fight back without sacrificing your sanity? This is a lot. So, I think this is where we must realize that this is a huge game. And yes, we are players of the game, but we didn't design the game. I think we need to detach ourselves from how things are supposed to go. And like I said earlier in the episode, give it to God. Because before, I used to believe that, maybe my soul did write my entire life before I got here. Maybe God did, and I'm just here to live it. I have no idea how it works. But I think a lot of people are like, how do I not give my energy to the matrix? But like, why is the matrix so bad? Oh, well, because it limits me and it enslaves me. Yeah, 100%. But you could also alchemize it. You could also choose different frequencies. And now I would like to disclaim I'm not saying this because it's necessarily an easy thing to do. This is literally the hardest thing to do. That is why so many people are stuck. But how can you live a matrix physical reality, but be embodied divine God consciousness? You can move with love. You can move with gratitude. You can move with authenticity. You can move with genuine intentions. You can move with the divine knowing that everything always works out, even though you're terrified and it doesn't seem to be working out. And is it going to work out? But you're not sure. But yes, it will, because that is the truth that you are tuning into. It is a frequency. These are all different frequencies that we're coexisting with. Which one are we going to tune into? So when people say, what do you think of the digital IDs coming? I literally don't give a shit. I don't pay attention to it. I don't pay attention to it because I know that no matter what happens, I will be provided for. No matter what happens, I will be safe and taken care of. No matter what happens, I'm going to be at the right place at the right time. Is it scary to think about that there's all these things coming and we have no idea? I have always talked about this consciousness shift in my content as something positive. And I know a lot of people think that it's going to shit and it's going to be terrible and we're all screwed. But the reality is, I don't think that's the truth. And you are free to tune into the parallel reality that you want. But I have tuned into the one where light wins, where shit might go down, shit might hit the fan, but everything is going to be okay. And everything that is supposed to happen is going to happen. I don't know. I just have faith. I just have faith. And there are times where I don't. And it's hard. It's a real struggle to just tune into that good shit, to just be not hopeful, because hopeful leaves room for discouragement, for disappointment. You have to be faithful because faith is a lot more powerful than hope. So I don't spend my time trying to not give my attention to the matrix. I am here to serve people in the matrix. That's it. I'm here to use my consciousness with my abilities, how I perceive reality, to help everyone else in the matrix become more aware of themselves, of their patterns, of their programming. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to give you the absolute answer to life. And I think the question, how do you not give your energy to the matrix, is like a bit false because I do. I give my energy to the matrix. I go to a matrix gym every day. I go to the matrix grocery store. I go on matrix social media. I live in the in the matrix. I am in this world. And even if I went off grid, the matrix is the third dimensional physical realm. So I'm here. I'm in this bitch. I think it's important to not be fearful of giving your attention to it. Because if it's loving intention, what? If it's loving attention, we can say intention as well, but if you're giving your loving attention to the matrix, you are recoding the video game. Because essentially the initial coding was fear and scarcity and limitation and shame and guilt. So it makes a lot of sense that if you're coming from a place of shame and guilt, well, you can't recode the game. But the more that you recode the game with love, you're actually serving the rest of the consciousness, the collective consciousness, because you are connected to it. You are connected to the huge motherboard of the matrix. So while you take care of your shit, you're actually helping everyone else take care of their shit. And that's a pretty cool fucking thing to do. So that's it. That's it for today. I answered all of the questions that I felt very called to answering. And I'm grateful to every single one of you who asked me a question on my story on Instagram. Again, go follow me on there because if you want to ask me a question next time, I'm going to post it on there. But, anyways, to conclude this episode, I just want to tell you that I love you and I'm rooting for you. And I know that you already have everything that you need. And it's about believing in yourself a little bit more than you give yourself credit for. We are our best judges, criticizers. We love to be so hard on ourselves because we think it'll make us a better person. We think the more that we guilt ourselves, the more that it might feel easy to receive afterwards. But I've been realizing I've been holding on to so much guilt. And I'm so grateful that it's coming up because holy frick, do I not want to hold on to it? But I've just been asking myself, why do we feel so guilty for having more, welcoming more, receiving more? People are out here asking for more money, more opportunities, but they feel so bad. They feel so bad having a great life while everyone else has a shit life. And I think that says a lot about the state of our consciousness levels. I have personally experienced guilt for wanting more in my life, knowing that the rest of the world is suffering and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't save every person. I can't save every person sleeping on the street that's going to freeze tonight. And it's hard. You know, I think it's hard to exist in a world where there's so much darkness and you're so aware of it and you want to help and you want to do so much good, but you can't do all the good that you wish you could do. Don't guilt yourself for wanting a beautiful life because God wants you to have a beautiful life. And I know sometimes we wish we could take on other people's suffering or pain just to save them, right? But I think that shows more compassion towards you, All the times that I have wanted to take people's weight on my back and save them, even though I was drowning, I was willing because it felt like I had a bigger capacity to take it than they did. But did that mean I was being more loving and giving, or did that mean I was just being more neglectful towards myself? Wild. So I'm going to let you sit with that because I'm going to go sit with that. Holy frick. Again, make sure you check out my ebooks at lolorenat.com, available on Amazon. I love you guys. I really wish sometimes I could hug you because I give really good hugs, and I'm sure maybe it would heal some parts of you. I would like to think. But thank you for tuning in to the official 30th episode of the On the Lolo podcast. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for resonating with my content. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I'm just grateful to be here. And I'm grateful that you're here. So, yeah, tune in to the next episode. We're in the 30s now. Let's see if it takes me another 2 years to finish 10 episodes. I would like to think not, but life is unpredictable. So I love you guys and have a beautiful rest of your time during the day or evening. I hope it's amazing.